Be more than motivated. Be more than driven. Become obsessed. Obsessed to the point where people think you're literally nuts. That's a quote from David Goggins. Let's talk a little bit more about that on day 232. Be so obsessed to the point where people think you're literally nuts, is what he's saying. That's how committed, that's how disciplined, that's how connected to your true north that you must be. Having said that quote, there's two things that someone asked me recently that I want to break down a little bit. The first question, they said, why do you keep doing these videos with a relatively small following? Like there's not a ton of likes or comments, not a ton of followers. The second question that they asked was, why don't you just go help people that are sick or poor instead of just making the videos and spending every single day doing that? And I'm going to address both of those questions very simply. The first question I'm going to address by starting with reading Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14. It says, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. So to address that first question about a relatively small following and why do you keep pressing forward with every single day videos, why do you burden yourself with not a ton of likes or followers? Well, a couple things. One, change is hard, especially the longer you put off change. It's difficult. Not very often do people want to look in the mirror and say, I really need to cut out things that have been addicting to me or things that have been burdening my life. That's not appealing to most people. It's especially not appealing to people that are physically and spiritually untrained. And I don't mean that as a shot, that's simply just a reality. Because the reality is indulgence is what sells during this time period and in this culture. And what do I mean by indulgence? Sex, unhealthy food, lounging around and being occupied by entertainment. Like those are the things that often create the biggest human audiences. And I've been on both sides of living in indulgence and then also living in extreme discipline and intention. I've been on both sides of that at various points in my life. And if you've only ever been on the side of indulgence in your life and you've never truly stepped in for like a prolonged period, getting your mind, your body, and your spirit right, just discipline, even if it's making you so uncomfortable, you're stepping into that prolonged period month after month, chasing discipline and delayed gratification and not indulgence. Like if you've never actually stepped into delayed gratification, then I wouldn't expect you to understand anything that I'm saying in these videos. I'm not saying that as a shot. That's just reality and that's okay. But again, this person couldn't comprehend why I would continue to press forward with making videos every day. And they definitely didn't understand my response, which was this, is I said, it's not about followers and it's definitely not about vanity or making myself look good, because if it were about any of that, I would have a Facebook and an Instagram and an X and a TikTok and trying to promote it. And I don't have any of that. I have no social media. Actually, the people that are doing things for vanity are the people that are so into self-promotion, not like Jesus promotion. The people that are into self-promotion are the people that are posting selfies 24/7 or that are creating TikToks all the time. And it's those people, unfortunately, that are so burdened by their own vanity. And I don't need to do any self-promotion. Making videos about Jesus and about fitness for a small following, like that's all I'm here to do. And if that following grows and helps a few more people along the way, that's awesome. But here's the key. These videos, why I'm making them, and I know this doesn't make sense to people that are so obsessed with followers of their own vanity, but actually these videos, here's the simple reason why I'm doing them, is the videos are about who I'm becoming through the process of doing the work, way more than the result of the work themselves. The result of the work is helping people. Hopefully a person or two can be impacted to get their body right through going to the gym and eating well and getting their spirit right by following Jesus. Like that's the result, and that's important. But who I'm becoming through the process of doing the work, like I want day 231 me to be better than day 204 me, and day 204 me to be better than day 115 me, and day 115 me be better than day 1 me. So if you look back through these videos, and what I aim to do is to see over the course of the year who I'm becoming through the process of doing the work. And it's awesome to help people. And I aim to do that as well, even if it's just a few people on a small platform. But that is the byproduct of who I'm becoming. Because if who I'm becoming through doing the work is a better human and a better follower of Christ, then the results will naturally follow. And again, the results, meaning if the platform stays small or gets big, either way, like that's awesome. I don't really care either way how big or small the platform is. But no matter what the platform is, it's the person at the grocery store, the 4 people following along to these videos. Again, I don't care about the vanity. I don't care about how many people follow along. But if who I'm becoming is the best version of stepping into a better version every day, then I'm going to be a person that shows Jesus better, no matter how big or small the platform is. Anyone that comes in contact with me will be able to see Jesus more because of these videos that I'm doing and the process of doing the work. And that will inevitably help people that are hungry and poor, and the people that I'm helping via donations and evangelizing and all of those things. And I don't expect any of this to make sense to the spiritually untrained. But again, to be clear, not doing videos for the followers. And I had a video on this called Bible Doing. So if someone kind of taking a shot about why aren't you just helping the sick or the poor, I am doing both, but doing these videos is the foundation so I can sustain and have the proper mindset to help the sick and the poor and the spiritually unhealthy and the distracted humans, because there's a million of them right now that have just given in to excess and given into this culture of immediate gratification. I'm trying to pull people out of that, even if it's just a few along the way. So lastly, these videos that I make, it's about spiritual training, the process of who I'm becoming through doing the work. It's like the video I posted a couple weeks ago about Moses in the desert. He was leading these people for 40 years, and he had literally saved their life through famine, through parting the Red Sea so they didn't all drown. He literally was saving these people's lives time and time again, and a large portion of these people didn't appreciate him. A large portion of the people were still insulting him. And you know what? Moses would have been a terrible leader if he had just gave in because of some ungrateful people that were confused and thought that Moses was the enemy, when in fact he was the person helping them. But Moses was a person of principle, and he continued to press forward in leadership no matter of the cheap opinions of a few bad apples. Because here's what leaders do. Leaders press forward. Leaders have a dog mentality. Leaders are relentless, and they refuse to quit. Leaders use any feedback, good or bad, as fuel to keep burning and keep pressing forward. Leaders are so unconcerned with the opinion, the confused opinion from a bad apple. And again, if none of this makes sense to you, I would encourage you in your life to just start with this question. Take inventory of yourself and say, am I truly happy and joyful with where I'm at currently in life? And if you're spiritually untrained, I guarantee you the answer to that is no, or at least not fully joyful and fully happy. And because that answer is no, then what do you need to do about it? I would encourage you then to ask God to give you eyes to see and ears to hear him in your life. That doubt that you might have can be overcome by constant intention and discipline. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. You can be cynical and you can doubt, but if you've never given this a shot, just surrender to him, and he will give you eyes to see and ears to hear and understand his word, and to understand what you need to do next in your life. And then you can start living with intention spiritually and physically, because I think eating healthy, moving your body, sweating, all that's important as well. And then slowly over time, after week and month, you start to develop this training that you've never had before. You'll become spiritually trained, you'll become physically trained, and you can get to eventually to an entirely new place and a new height that you've never been in life. It doesn't happen overnight, so don't come crying to me after a week if it's not, if your life doesn't feel changed, but do it for a year. That's what we're doing in this journey. Keep going. So the whole point of this series is today is the first day of the rest of your life. If you haven't made this commitment yet, start today. And then every day after is an opportunity to keep going, to keep pressing forward, to keep taking one foot in front of the other, to live for Jesus, to be a vessel for him, to be the strongest human you can be mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm so unconcerned with anything other than, my true north. I'm so unconcerned with anyone else's opinions or thoughts or feelings about what I'm doing, because I'm living for my true north, which is Jesus, which is taking care of my body. That's day 232.